Hello, everyone, and welcome to That Kingsville Podcast. I'm your host, Dave Hunt, and with me is Kevin Black and Steve Ianson. Got a great episode tonight. We've got a special guest, Christina Bedal from Kingsville's BIA. A little later, we're going to have an interview with Laura Lucier talking about open streets in Kingsville. And we're in early June, and society is making progress, gentlemen.
Ish.
Well, relative. Come on.
We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
It's better than anything that's happened in the last 14 months. Kev. Come on.
Yeah, well,
No, you're right.
some people would say that the Habs made it into the...
Oh, yeah, the downfall of the Leafs. Maybe that was the highlight of the past 14
So
months.
I wore my St. Pat's hat because it's basically the last time the Leafs were any good. Is that 1901?
No, they were good this regular season.
They were good, and then they did what they do. You know,
Yeah.
They got basically Carey priced out.
Really?
Yes, got it in early.
I don't know. That was marginal.
Well, I'm going to give it to him, right? Because it's
Well,
you're
you either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's a 3. That's a 3-1.
can't believe it.
Yeah. Oh, we got it on the board now. Gary got a new board, so we got better sound effects.
Ooh.
I like these. This is professionalism in a heartbeat here.
Christina's about to walk out the door with these shenanigans.
She's a big fan. Listen, she's one of the 5.
am.
That's
one of
true.
the 5 listeners.
I am a fan. I think there's 6. I've talked to about
Yeah,
5 other
because we
people.
can't forget good old Zach Neal, who wants a T-shirt if we ever produce them.
Now we're doing merch.
I don't know. That was his request.
Got
so
it.
Are we doing merch?
I don't know.
Are we going to do T-shirts?
We just need one right now.
I have a merch guy.
You have. Is he local to Kingsville?
Maybe caught him.
I can recommend a couple.
Oh, where the dog catcher is.
Yeah.
Moving on, I was contacted by Tara Hewitt at the town of Kingsville, and
Who?
they are Tara Hewitt. She's the director of communications.
Yeah,
manager?
I've heard of her.
You've heard of her. A lovely woman. She's
Excuse me.
launching the town news portal for the town of Kingsville, and it's targeting Kingsville residents to campaign. It's a campaign to promote the town of Kingsville website for municipal news and information for Kingsville residents, business owners, and property owners. We want to reach people to subscribe to the news categories on our website, or even just the categories that interest them. Once they're subscribed, they'll automatically receive news releases, and it'll be sent directly to their email inbox. With the shuttering of the Kingsville Reporter and restrictions we've been dealing with from the worldwide health pandemic, the website is currently the best way to get information directly to residents. To stay informed, keep up to date with your community, and discover the information that directly impacts you and your family. Subscribing will ensure you're among the first to know about things like when the splash pad opens, when roads are closed and construction is starting, changes to annual events, opportunities for new programs, and opportunities to provide your input on decisions that may impact the municipality in the long term. Subscribing doesn't make you obligated to participate in anything. It only means that you don't miss out on your chance to do so. You can also follow the town of Kingsville on Facebook and Twitter at Kingsville Aunt. Fair.
So what you're saying is that anyone who is, say, concerned about anything that's happening in the town, that maybe they have some concerns, they're citizens of Kingsville and they're concerned.
Yes.
There would be a way to get the information directly from the town.
Right. They don't necessarily have to collate in a group. They can do it independently via.
So there's no requirement to do it through media socially. You could get that information directly from the
town.
source.
From the town, in lieu of any newspaper print, because that is non-existent anymore. So therefore,
There are no printed newspapers.
nothing physical.
Thing of the past.
Thing of the past. So
Just
go directly to the Kingsville
to the source.
source to get the news and information about the splash pad and construction updates.
Like if let's say Main Street was going to be closed for a period of time, a good way to find that out would be through this service.
Through this service. Information, news in your email inbox.
Right.
You have one of those? I've just signed up for AOL. I'll receive these notifications digitally. Ladies and gentlemen, we're in the 21st century.
Tara really is doing a fantastic job, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the town's communicated more in the past couple of months than the past several years. It's fantastic
That's what
to
happens
see.
when you assign somebody directly responsible for that. Plus, she's an outlet that we can easily get response from rather than just blindly throwing questions at a door. So, yeah, great.
I still like just yelling things at a door, but I mean, that's just me.
This one responds, though. This now you get a response.
Well, the door responds too, but that I need to take my pills.
Yeah. A special shout out to our sponsor, the very own Kingsville Brewery, featuring refreshing premium beers, perfect for having a couple of pints with your pals. Crafted with natural, clean ingredients, their award-winning beer is available at select LCBO, beer stores, and grocery stores. Go online to their website, kingsvillebrewery.com, to order takeout at the Tap House or beer delivered for free in Essex County. Cheers to the everyday adventure. Thank you, Kingsville Brewery.
And owned by That Kingsville Podcast hockey analysts Mark Muzzin and Marty Turco.
Yeah, we got a lot of reception from that. I don't know if it was just name dropping former NHL goalie Marty Turco or if it was just our popularity. I don't know why.
Honestly, I think it was the Kingsville Comet chatter.
I believe, you know what, Steve, I got to give you credit. We heard from multiple people that it was a wonderful walk down memory lane, right? Because that's undocumented. You can't just go on like CHTV and watch Comets games.
They were good times. I mean, you used to pack, before the 2000 season or late 90s, there was one time they played Leamington when Leamington were junior C. And Kingsville Arena was packed, like literally packed. It was like Game 7, and I think the Comets upset the Flyers that year too. But that was before my time. I can't speak too much to that one. But
it goes down in Kingsville hockey history.
There were times when
Kingsville hockey history. So
packed the barn.
Tonight we have another special guest in studio with us today. Christina Bedal is the coordinator for Kingsville BIA. So welcome to the podcast, Christina. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hey.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, dude, such an unusual last couple of years we've had so far.
Yes, it has certainly been a interesting ride.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you heard of COVID?
I have. I've heard about it. I saw it on the news. Surprisingly
shut everything down.
I know. I saw it on Facebook. It has to be true.
It is true. It is true. So, we asked you to come in to tell us a little bit about what's happening with regards to the impacts of COVID and how Kingsville and the BIA are doing and what plans and things are being forecast for the reopening.
Okay. So. Well, sadly, we did see a few businesses make their way out of Kingsville when the shutdown was within its first 3 months, I believe. The fortunate thing for Kingsville is we are a high demand town. So a lot of new business moved in quite quickly and really with no gap in between. We saw some delay starts for some of our businesses, but overall, I think that they've embraced, the curbside and delivery and pickup and all those kinds of fun things. But overall, I mean, I'm not a business owner with skin in the game like so many of our members are. We have 215 BIA members. And it's been a scary time. People are stressed, they're tired, they're concerned, but we have good news, and reopening is upon us. So people are posting their hours, they're letting people know what their availability is, how many folks they can have in their business. So I encourage people to just use a little bit of research and figure out, is it 4 people, is it 6 people that can be in a location?
Obviously, Kingsville businesses have a real strong history here of working together. Has that played a major role in maybe making all of them more viable in the long term?
Absolutely. When I first came to work for the BIA, I was introduced to businesses and, being told that everybody worked together and, they're family and they lift each other up. And I kept waiting for a shoe to drop, and it just didn't drop. And it didn't drop during this pandemic either. I think that, we have a very strong business community, very dedicated, loyal to Kingsville and one another.
What's during a time like this, what do you see as the role of the BIA? What is it that your goal is to try and do to help these businesses to be able to succeed during this time?
Hands down, it's promotion and communication. Trying to make sure that members are aware of resources and tools that have been made available from the government, from the town, and then just reminding, the world that we are here and we're standing strong and we're going to be here when we can reopen.
Now, the BIA has done a lot of social media promotion, a lot of different events and features to help reinvigorate some of the traffic. What are some of the things that you've done in the not so distant past and some of the things that you may be able to tease about upcoming events or promotions?
Well, last year they did a summer dollar giveaway, and we're doing it again.
Dollars?
Yes.
$3?
Free money.
Please tell me there's this giant plexiglass booth that we're going to put in front of the clock in the middle of the town, and you go in it, and then there's a fan, and you got to catch the dollars, please.
Oh my God.
That would be cool.
Can we do that in Open Streets?
We used to have one at the radio station. We had one of those. Yeah, the like
money box.
Grabbing for money.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
That would be cool.
Sometimes we just turn it on and stand in it.
I just want money. I want to bathe in money.
You weren't wearing your kilt, I hope.
They were early mornings.
Nothing like refreshing.
But we do. We have $10,000. We have received very generous support and sponsorship so that we can offer $10,000. So looks like we'll target Canada Day. We wanted to allow more of the businesses to be open so that people who win have a larger choice of places to spend it. So watch us on Facebook and Instagram because
plug it.
Yeah, we're going to have a contest there.
Great.
We also plan to run a staycation package contest. I'm not really sure when that will take off. I play a few things by ear, but we want to offer a contest to entice some folks to possibly win and spend a night or two here in Kingsville.
Yeah.
Experience us.
Yeah, and the more and more that I get out in the community and start to see people, it looks like we're all ready. Like we're just waiting at our doorsteps, like just open. I'm going to pounce, right? Mm-hmm. So I can anticipate that, as we enter into Friday, right? As of recording this, Friday is day one into phase one. Mm-hmm. So we're 15% capacity for non-essentials and scheduled whatever the blah, blah, blah is. Can you breathe? Are you allowed to breathe?
I believe so.
Oh,
yeah.
That's in the rules.
But every other breath.
Yeah.
I think it's like 60% of breaths you're allowed to take. Once we hit 70% vaccination rate, you can have 80% of breaths.
Whoa. You're getting generous now.
Oh, yeah. But I can anticipate that there's a lot of interest in the staycation promotions, and especially if you're giving away it's not 10,000 in one shot. We'll make that real clear, right? It's not like a sweepstakes where you can win 10 grand. It's going to be doled out in smaller amounts, but still, that's free money.
It's free money.
Free money.
You can use it at any of our BIA businesses. Now
I'm going to ask the tough question, and I'm putting you on the spot a little bit. So if you don't want to answer, just tell me to shove it. It's fine. I have thick skin. Obviously, there's over the past year, there's been some dissension among, and it's been visible on Facebook that not all business owners have felt the same way about things happening at the BIA. Don't want to get into any of the actual behind the scenes politics of that, but how do you function as an employee of the BIA when you're trying to kind of work through that minefield? Like, how do you try to coalesce different viewpoints that are happening amongst your members? Yeah, it is a landmine situation sometimes, and dealing with different people with different concerns that have an issue. Their issue's big. And it's big to them right now, so therefore it needs to be big to me right now. So I try to get the details and the facts and, push things through the board. If they are able to do something, they will. If they can't, then that's communicated back. And often that's where dissension can come in. But we do work hard to try to find a remedy and some sort of compromise where we can. Well, and everyone's been so stressed, whether it's the public or business owners over the last little while. Exactly. Everyone's nerves are kind of at their end, Yeah, I do end up finding myself being a bit of a punching bag sometimes. But I'm okay with it because
I don't work for the town, and I don't really work for a board. I work for 215 businesses. You pay me. And if you're having a bad day, then, I feel it's my responsibility to help support you.
Along the lines of being a punching bag, as you put it, on the flip side of that, how often have you had to be sort of a cheerleader or a morale booster a little bit too during the difficult times? Or, every business owner realizes what the situation is. How have they been sort of cheerleaders along the way?
Yes, cheerleader is a good word too. Just reassuring the businesses they're not alone. And, the things that they share with me, I can in good faith tell them that it's probably the 20th time I've heard it that week, that they're not out there on an island by themselves, even though they feel they are. And I do feel that helps rally a little bit of, more positive emotion. The BIA, we worked hard to keep a positive presence and foot forward. I find it sad when I see other organizations talking about, please help us keep the doors open. I mean, that's pretty obvious to me. So let's talk about what's going on that is positive and why you want to come when the doors open. So, and I find that, the businesses that help one another out, it's just amazing to me.
Being a small business owner, we feel that, you're there for so many hours and you're so entrenched that you sometimes don't get that opportunity to look around and realize that, we aren't the only people that are being screamed at by people that want to wear masks or don't want to wear masks. We're not the only people with staff that cry on a weekly basis because of the way they've been treated by customers.
Yep.
And I know, and my wife has spoken with you quite a bit over the last year or so. And I know that kind of hearing some of those stories about how, we're not the only ones that are facing that, it really does make a difference. Yeah. It kind of gives you that team behind you, even though there really isn't that team, and it gives you some kind of camaraderie. It helps.
Yeah. And I mean, we used to be able to get together for in-person socials and, have an AGM, and we lost all that. And it's, I'm a conduit of information and try to deliver it in a positive way. But no, none of our businesses are alone, whether they're in Kingsville or a surrounding town. It's been a challenge.
Has anything surprised you over the last year?
Oh, well, there's always a bit of an undertone of joking when we see and hear some of the things that are out there on social media. But what does surprise me is how we have, sadly, some local residents that believe certain information and feel that they need to get it out there on social media, even though it's not necessarily accurate. And that creates damage. That creates long-term damage. And, that surprises me that our own locals who have seen Kingsville grow and prosper be so willing to continuously share false information in some cases.
If only there was a service that the town of Kingsville was providing.
I know.
Where you could get some of that information directly to your email inbox.
I'm thrilled to hear about this. This is fantastic.
Again. Shameless shill. They want people to subscribe to the news categories on their website, or even just the categories that interest them. It's not all encompassing. If you want to learn about construction updates, there's a box for that to check. You want to learn about activities in town, there's a box for that to check. Stay informed. Keep up to date with your community and discover the information that directly impacts you and your family.
Or if you're an extremely concerned citizen, just check them all. Check everyone. Actually, check the hidden one at the bottom for all the secret information.
I honestly went on, and you could encompass an entire work week worth of data if you checked every box. It is going to be very thorough, as it should.
And Christina, what's the best way to get information from the BIA? How can people go about finding out what's going on?
Follow our Facebook page. Instagram, we're becoming more and more active, but Facebook is still kind of where it all kind of hits. I'm working on that. But follow our Facebook page and, follow the businesses you like, because they're always changing.
Yeah. Any other suggestions about how to help continue to support not only the BIA members, but also our local business community?
Any business in general. I mean, if you can buy at local meeting in town or around our town, please do. It's every dollar matters.
We're all ambassadors of Kingsville.
Exactly. And, we've got great opportunity to purchase here. So there's very little you can't get in Kingsville.
Well, and the complaint used to always be price.
Mm-hmm.
You would go, but it's not really anymore. If you start looking around, you're not spending a significant amount more.
Well, if not any, this is not a paid sponsorship. This is just me and my own shopping experience. Buying appliances in Kingsville is at the same price of Windsor, and the proprietors that locate their businesses here have done so in order to make sure that they continually get traffic through the doors. So, and they are able to order the same kind of things that are available in Windsor. So, we've taken that approach.
And we often get it quicker.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's
with better service too,
yes.
because it's a smaller community and that's their business model.
Remember there used to be a day when you could walk into a store and buy something and leave with it?
What, that was a thing? It didn't come to your door in a brown
It's hard
box?
to believe.
You just didn't show up and bang on the window and somebody toss a bag at you?
I'm going to tell you, it's moving day. Like, it's moving day for me. We got our new house, so I'm in the hood now, guys. I'm in the hood.
Welcome.
Thanks. Whoop, whoop.
Exciting.
But we had to curbside paint. And you would not... all things considered, the facilitation of curbsiding paint isn't the easiest thing to do, but you have to go on a website and select certain paint chips, but digitally on a screen, those paint chips don't look like what they look like in person. No. So you click a whole bunch of different paint chips that you want to get, you go pick them up curbside. Then you take them home and you take a look at them and you go, I like this shade of periwinkle. No, I like this shade of mauve. This is my new living room. And then you have to order said paint, right? But I don't know. I don't know how to order paint properly because no matter what, everybody says, this paint's great. It's one coat coverage. Has it ever been?
No.
Has it ever been? Steve, when's the last time you painted?
Well,
is Tam
myself,
do that?
Tam does that. She's fantastic at it. For me, it's a paint in the butt, but okay, that's like overkill on the sound effects, gentlemen.
Sorry.
Come on.
I'll defer to Gary.
However, she did just recently. Our living room, our entire living room, kitchen.
But was she able to go in the store and look at the can and go like, yeah?
She was actually.
See,
this was before, and it makes a big difference.
It does, and not to the discredit of the people that we were helping with, or that were helping us with our purchase or transaction. It's just a matter of like, there are certain things that are much easier to do when you can walk in the store and be like, I want that. And you can talk to people and look at the price and be like, you know what, $6 more, and I don't have to like get 4 arms of steel because I'm repainting everything 3 times.
I love paint color names, though. It's one of my favorite things. Like Sunset Mandarin and Smoky Turquoise and Trafalgar Square.
How is a physical location a color? Is it the gum that's on the street?
That actually is a color.
Of course, you painted your living room Trafalgar Square. Don't lie. That came out too easy.
Maybe. That's possible. It's a great gray.
That wasn't one of the swatches you saw on the wall at our place last week, was it?
Yeah. Oh, what was the name of the one I liked? Oh,
I don't know.
Salamander belly.
It was. Tam's not done. She's got another room to paint, and there's 4 swatches on the wall.
Yeah. I had an opinion, and Steve didn't like it. I kind of wish I hadn't said it. Then he's like, "Damn it, Kevin, cut it out! Get out of my house!"
But yeah, I'm glad though that now, as of Friday, we're actually able to, in a limited capacity for the foreseeable, 3 weeks is what they said, unless they accelerate that again, which I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that they do, because it'll make things a lot easier to do, like buying paint.
Yes.
Or picking out things like a mattress.
Well, yeah.
Has anyone purchased a mattress other than those Casper like foam ones that you don't actually get to try? Gary, did you buy a mattress?
I bought it online.
Right. Did you buy a Casper or did you buy a real one?
It was one of those Casper.
Okay,
styles.
right. But you don't ever get to try those out in the store. No. Anyway, like or would you go and buy a king coil or whatever without putting your, laying on it once? But what does that do, really?
True.
Right? Do you really feel like you're well rested? No. I want to go in that store with my shoes on and that little plastic thing at the foot.
bed.
Feel like I'm sleeping in my clothes, right? After a long night of partying at Kingsville Open Streets.
There you go.
So any other promotions or things that the BIA intends on going forward outside of COVID? So, 2022 and beyond, where do you see the future of the Kingsville BIA?
Well, I think we're going to see more business growth here. I think we're going to see a lot of push from the tourism side, trying to revive that. What that looks like, I can't tell you at the moment, but I do know that, the development of ongoing businesses here and, tourism are always at the forefront of our conversations.
Correct.
You'll see that we're investing some dollars in the district for additional holiday decor this year. Just to, keep our...
Is it going to be on the train? Are you going to decorate the train?
Oh, we could.
The electric train,
That could be fun. But, we did win Windsor Essex best shopping district. So that's we did.
That's a
yeah. Sweppy, yeah.
Well done, Kingsville.
Yeah.
Yes, we've been nominated a few times, but we won. And
about darn time.
Yeah. So, we take a lot of pride in the efforts that are made in the streetscape.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think it's well seen with, like you said earlier, about the partnerships and the cooperation that we get from a lot of the different business owners and entrepreneurs within the town, right?
And the town. I mean, we have some very strong partnerships with, members of council and, administration and.
Yeah,
we couldn't do a lot of the things we do around here without the support of the town of Kingsville.
The Economic Development and Tourism Committee that I've sat on for a while, we coordinate a lot, and those are good things for going in the future. So
yeah, no, it's it's a good group.
Kevin's tearing up over here. Kevin, did you get a little sentimental?
Used to be on. Oh my gosh.
Well, thank you, Christina, for coming in and talking about the BIA.
Thanks for having me.
I think we're all in for a lot of excitement and some challenges as we reopen. But, if you want to plug anything.
Well, thank you for supporting local and our small businesses. I mean, it is greatly valued and appreciated. And our business owners talk about that regularly. And small purchase, medium purchase, big purchase, every purchase has made a difference. So thank you.
So we want to talk a little bit about what some community needs are, and the Kingsville Community Food Bank posts on their social media Facebook group every once in a while about some things that they're in need of. And this week they're in need of peanut butter, fruit cups, pudding cups, vegetable soup, mushroom soup, and saltine crackers. And hopefully the June 27th food drive, which I hear is coming back around. I don't know if they're calling it the June 27th Miracle again this year, but I saw a couple of mentions of it. So I would hope that that's yet again another big initiative, because last year they got like 63 million pounds of food and filled the arena and whatnot. And it really did go a long way.
The only thing that people should try to be cognizant of is not to donate anything that's expired.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. It's not clean out your cupboard just because you didn't eat those boxes of craft dinner.
Yeah.
You should eat your boxes of craft dinner, because why waste craft dinner? But don't donate it if it's past its expiry.
Right. Like if your rice-a-roni has dust on it, then don't donate it.
Do they still make rice-a-roni?
Probably.
I'll take the rice-a-roni. I like it.
Yeah, but I haven't heard of rice-a-roni. Like, it's the San Francisco treat.
Yeah.
I get it. But
I think it tastes best on a hill.
Ask your children, because they wouldn't have seen commercials for it. You remember the commercial of the trolley car going down the San Francisco treat? Yeah. Yeah. Gary knows.
Yes.
Yeah. So anyway, like I said, let's see what you can do to help the local food drive and the Kingsville Community Food Bank.
Euro 2020 in 2021.
Exactly. Well, got moved, right?
Well, yeah.
So
got
bumped.
But
This is Paulo Percebali's request. We got to take care of that.
Are we? Sorry, hang on a second. They're still calling it 2020.
Well, the official name of the tournament is Euro 2020.
Yeah. So it's only one-time thing ever?
No, it's the European Championships are held every 4 years. 2 years in between World Cups.
I know I had this whole conversation already.
Yeah, but why didn't they call it just Euro 21?
Couldn't
Because
agree more.
Go on.
It's not the name of the tournament.
Foot soccer.
Wait until Tokyo 2020 comes.
Yeah, well, it should be 2021, and
Right.
then they just skip to 23 or 4.
So stupid.
Whatever. Go.
So France are the favorites. Not surprised there. And England are actually listed as second favorites, which, they're the perennial underachievers when it comes to big tournaments. However, 3 years ago in the World Cup, they did reach the semifinals. A lot of those players are now coming into their prime. They've got a lot of good young talent, and I'm going to take England to win it all.
Really, you don't think Scotland's going to give them a go? And
Scotland will give them a go, but just because, but I don't know. I thought Scotland and football is like an oxymoron. I didn't know they really went together. We just lost all our Scottish
I
listeners.
don't know what you're talking about. All 4 of them.
Yeah.
Poor Irene.
90% of our audience.
Irene
And of course, there's
Just don't get hard on the Irish because we have somebody in Ireland who downloads our podcast.
that's great.
We do.
Yeah,
we-
well, they didn't qualify, so
Northern Ireland got. Oh, are they in Northern? That won't matter.
no Northern Ireland either. However,
They got
there's
close, though.
Group F, the group of death with France, Germany, Portugal, and Hungary.
Hungary knocked out my my Icelandic nation.
I'm sorry.
It makes me sad.
Well,
It was Iceland almost made it back into, make a run. I guess that was 4 years ago, 2016, right? When Iceland came in and kind of was the Cinderella story at the Euros last
they
go
beat
around.
England.
Yeah, sure
Yeah.
did. It's great.
So anyway, kicks off Friday. England play Sunday, their opener. That's all that really matters.
Is there
That's
any?
the only one you're worried. Should we mention Italy at all?
Well, they're
They're there.
They're there.
What do you think? How are they going to do?
Wow.
You know what? After not qualifying for the last World Cup, can you believe Italy?
Oh, I know.
Anyway, no, I gave
I've heard.
Paulo a hard time on that one. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them even win it. You can if they're in, you can never count them out. So I mean, look what they did how many years ago when they beat France in the final, right?
Who
They weren't expected to, and there
yeah.
they were.
Who do you think is going to be the Cinderella team? Who's the hidden underdog in here that everyone's sleeping on that's going to come through?
Wales might have a shot. Because their group, if you look at it, they could beat Turkey, they could beat Switzerland, and there's nothing to say if Italy have a bad day, they can't beat Italy. Once you get out of the group stage, who knows? Another country who's really had strong tournaments in recent years is Belgium. They are a perennial contender. Netherlands are always up there, and
Uzbekistan. We got to go for a dark horse somewhere.
North Macedonia.
Yeah.
How about North Macedonia?
Yeah,
if you want,
that's my team.
Yeah, Uzbekistan's an Asian nation.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Country.
All right.
Soccer.
If you want to go dark horse,
Yeah.
I'd go Finland.
There we go.
The
Right.
Finns.
The Finns. I like their flag. That's it.
Helsinki's a great city.
Yeah.
Had a great time there.
Yeah.
Actually, I was in Helsinki and went to this bar and was there with a few friends. And I went up to the bar to go order, and like heavy metal just blasting in this place.
Yeah. Finnish death metal.
Yeah, it was great. And walk up to the bar and ask for someone that spoke English because I was ordering around, right?
Mhm.
The guy walks over and he's like, "Oh, I speak English." I'm like, "Oh, that's like perfect English. Where are you from?"
Mm.
And he's like, "Oh, I'm from Canada." And okay, cool. And like, I'm from Canada too. It's like, "Oh, I thought you were American." Like, no, Canadian. He's like, "Oh, well, we're in Canada." I'm like, Ontario. Like, I'm in Ontario too. And then we went down the whole list, and he's from just outside Chatham.
What the Helsinki's going on?
Right? Oh.
It's from Paincore, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Merlin. of all
Him and Michelle Wright, the two people from Merlin.
of all the gin joints in all of Helsinki.
Right?
It's like the time I was at the top of the Arc de Triomphe on my honeymoon, and we met a guy from Harrow. No joke.
See? There you go. Small world.
Small
Indeed. Great way to finish the chat.
Oh, jeez.
Oh.
That was a thanks, Gary. That's the wah wah. All right. Like to thank Councilor Laura Lucier for joining us tonight. Laura, thanks for coming on That Kingsville Podcast.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So, Laura, you were recently the chairperson for the Open Streets Committee for Open Streets 2021 in Kingsville. And now we've had a couple of announcements that it looks like this is actually going to come through to fruition. So can you explain about what Open Streets is going to look like through these first couple of phases for 2021?
So yes, it is very exciting that Open Streets in downtown Kingsville is returning starting on June 19th, as long as everything stays on track. So obviously we are governed by the provincial regulations, which have been evolving, and the town is keeping a close eye on that to ensure that we are in compliance. And we will be doing everything we can within the guidelines. So June 19th, we are set to kick off at around 4:30, I believe. And at the beginning, it may look a lot like last year. There will be potentially some vendors from outside of the main street.
Right.
But I suspect that as the regulations loosen and we move forward through the summer, that additional amenities and activities will be added.
So on that note, since the town of Kingsville has now taken this on as an official town event, what type of other activities or features will differ from last year?
Yeah, so we have this year invited vendors and artists from all across the greater Kingsville area to participate. So if anybody does want to participate and they don't happen to have a storefront within that area, they can just go to my Kingsville.
Yeah, Kingsville.ca.
/Open Streets.
There you go.
Kingsville.ca /Open Streets, and they can sign up. So it will be a much more inclusive event this year than it was last year. As well, we are partnering with the Kingsville Folk Festival to provide music and live entertainment. So that is very exciting. And that will kick off as soon as the provincial regulations allow. So it looks like maybe in phase 2 right now, but we'll wait and see how those things evolve. And the Art Society of Kingsville has also generously offered to participate and to provide some family-friendly activities that, again, will be offered as the regulations allow.
Now, Open Streets was born due to the COVID restrictions, and obviously they're still somewhat in place. Has it been discussed, and are there plans to make this an annual event in the hope that obviously one day we get out of any and all restrictions?
I certainly hope that this does become an annual event. I think there's a lot of interest in sustaining this and growing it and making it, bigger and better, especially once we're out of this COVID pandemic situation. Council hasn't ruled on that as a whole at this point, but I suspect that there's been lots of support for it and that it's something that is likely to definitely come up again.
One of the criticisms that was leveled last year was that it was something of basically a glorified beer tent. But it sounds like a lot of what's going to be put in place is so much more beyond anything like that this year. Can you maybe elaborate even more to that, please?
Well, I mean, certainly the tourist and tourism and hospitality sector has been very hard hit. But so have all of our businesses. So the idea is to make it as inclusive as possible and to really make this event something that can help our businesses and all the businesses within the Kingsville area to start on the road to recovery. So that is the intention, and I think we got great support last year, and I do believe that this year, by inviting more vendors and folks from outside of the direct downtown area, that it is likely to have a bigger and more positive impact.
Absolutely. Yeah, there was a lot of those factors were taken into consideration through the committee in order to facilitate as much as possible and reinvigorate as many different businesses and opportunities as possible, using this as the the main collection of an event. How can people get involved and help the actual event take place? Because I know last year we had a lot of volunteers that assisted with the event. Is that still something that's for this year as well?
Yeah, the volunteers were awesome last year. They were really amazing, and they really did make the event work and allow it to continue. So without volunteers, this won't be a success. If it had to be all, paid town staff, this isn't something that the community would probably be willing to support or, pay for. So the volunteers are really a key. And it's been, it was such a positive event and so much fun last year to be downtown and to be a community ambassador and to be greeting, tourists, but also to see your neighbors and folks that we haven't seen in so long. So anybody who's interested in volunteering can definitely go on to kingsville.ca/open streets and click on I want to volunteer. And the application is very simple. There's a couple of different shifts. It's all on Saturdays this year, so it's really simple, and we are looking forward to having some amazing volunteers again.
Now, Laura, and it's Kevin. There was some concern last year, and I know this was raised at one of the council meetings, that there wasn't enough volunteers, and that led to some concerns of the way that the roads were opening or closing at the end of the night. Has there been has there been some work by the town to make sure that there's some rules or some policies in place to make sure that that's not something that could happen again this year?
Absolutely. So, we wanted to make sure that all of those concerns that last year's event happened really quickly. It was really amazing. The turnaround time was so quick. And I think it was an incredible event. But certainly we learned a lot from it. So this year we are having town staff at the beginning of the shift. So they will be closing streets to car traffic and opening it to foot traffic. And at the end of the night, there will be a paid coordinator on site, whatever volunteers are there. But we're also going to have 2 paid security guards who can also help with removing the barriers and allowing traffic to flow again.
And you mentioned security guards. So if I'm, and I'm just thinking for myself. So when I go to Open Streets and I have a drink, I cannot leave the restaurant patio area where I buy the drink from, right?
That is correct. And all of the liquor license rules will apply and will be enforced. And we want to keep everybody safe and make it a really positive event for everybody.
So no matter how much I yell from the middle of the street that I want a beer, no one is going to give me a beer.
Sorry, Kevin. Sorry. But you can frequent Kingsville Brewery and get a delicious light. And I'm wondering, should I consider the Carnegie a washroom?
Yes. So that's also another exciting change. So last year there were no public restroom facilities available, and that was a bit difficult for people. So the Carnegie will be open, and we'll have washroom facilities available while Open Streets is running, and additional facilities will be provided if it's required.
So go inside the building, not outside of the building.
Inside, and Art Society is going to be helping us to maintain that building, that facility. So thank you so much.
Yes, and like I said, being a part of the Open Streets committee, I'm excited that with all of the things that we've got planned, and hopefully we get further on in the phases and are able to enjoy the Kingsville Folk Fest and the music and entertainment that they want to provide to us, and make it a very well-rounded event.
Is part of that entertainment going to be us?
I have applied. This is news. This is news. That Kingsville Podcast has applied to do a live broadcast.
And I hope they don't bring tomatoes and stuff to check us.
Hey, listen, if we set up in front of the clock and get heckled in the middle of town, wouldn't be the first time.
I was on bad radio stations. You get used to it.
Wouldn't be the first time. Well, thank you, Councilor Lucier, for joining us here on That Kingsville Podcast and talking about Open Streets. We hope to see everyone. It's going to run from June 17th in through mid-September. And
June 19th.
June 19th. I apologize. June 19th through mid-September, and I hope to see everyone down there. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
All right.
See y'all downtown.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Technology. So
They were both really good.
Yeah,
Really
I'm
good
excited,
interviews.
right? You know, the reemergence of Kingsville as an economic society, right? I'm excited because I get to go and see all the things and all the people in a social circle in the places that I'm comfortable with and enjoy, right? Going shopping and being able to go, I need a new mattress. That's why I kind of said it's hard buying a mattress online.
Right.
My wife does not want a Casper, or else I'd have been like, honey, it comes to your door in a little box and then you poof, and it's like a giant marshmallow. Right, was that exciting when you popped that marshmallow bag?
Sure.
Yes. So yeah, I'm glad we're making progress back towards normal society.
Glimmer of hope.
Glimmer of hope, you know, and
It's kind of like England fans at the Euros. Like there's a glimmer of hope.
There is.
or Leaf fans in the playoffs.
No, there's never a glimmer.
Well,
It's the black hole of hatred.
We got to look back real quick on our last edition to see who everybody picked, because we're down to 6 teams now.
Oh, I think that we were all skunked. I know Marty was really hot on Colorado going all the way, and
They're down 3-2.
They're down 3-2. Boston's down
3-2,
right now.
yeah.
The Habs are steamrolling everyone,
They will play Vegas or Colorado next.
which is going to be a great series. If Carey Price continues, and I know we're kind of diverting into NHL territory again, but if Carey Price continues doing what he's doing, my gosh, like, and it makes me crazy that Montreal is doing so well. My Facebook inbox is filled with me. You know the have you seen the Doritos bag with the Leaf players in the bottom?
Yeah.
It's like Nacho Year. I have that like 15 times in my inbox on Facebook. It makes me crazy.
Gotta love gentle ribbing.
And the Jays are doing not great. I mean, we picked them for the World Series, and they're like 3rd or 4th right now in the East.
Listen, post All-Star break. Hey, stranger things have happened. The Houston Astros just banged on a trash can and won a World Series. Okay, don't put it past the. I know Hinch is in Detroit, but you know we can come up with some stuff. But
anyway,
well, that wraps up yet another episode of That Kingsville Podcast. I don't have a social media post.
No, I just wanted to kind of chime in real quick. I just want to pay a couple of quick tributes. First of all, my grade 8 teacher, Jim McIntyre, passed away.
Well.
Okay, I wasn't sure if he taught you too.
He did, Mr. McIntyre.
He was a guy who, after I got a little derailed, let's say in grade 7, just got a little silly, guided me back on the right track. And
did he physically, or was it just a beratement?
No, it was just it was an intimidation tactic.
He was good with
that. I don't know if I told you this, Kev, but it was 93 playoffs, the Borshevsky year, when they beat Detroit.
Nikolai.
And him and I had a little wager, and the wager was if the Leafs won the series, I was to cut his lawn, and if the Wings won the series, he would take me for a round of golf. Well, the Leafs won the series, so he came, picked me up one day, and I got on the riding mower, and I cut his spacious front lawn.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the summer, I got a phone call, and he told me that he owed me a round of golf. I said, no. You won the bet. And he said, too bad, we're going to go. And we played 9 holes at Bellevue. And we kept in touch. I had to visit with him a couple of months ago, actually. And it was really nice. And I'd also like just to send condolences to the Big Leaf family during a difficult time right now.
Yeah. No. Unfortunate, but, our thoughts are with those families. So thanks again for joining us on That Kingsville Podcast. I want to remind everybody to subscribe to us. Again, subscribe. We need those stats. You can subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or if you're Amazon Music, Stitcher, Spotify, Deezer, or anywhere you get your podcasts from.
Hey, Gary, did you ever hear from that guy again that said we were 65th? Like he hasn't reached out to say, wow, you guys are really climbing up the charts?
Never heard back.
Do you think it was just a sales tactic?
No.
That didn't work. Thanks again, everyone. We'll catch you next time.